Hey friends, it's Melanie and welcome to today's video. As you guys can see by the title, today we are having a little chat and hopefully I'll be able to share some of my ideas with you and give you guys some inspiration on all things room, home, apartment, DIY decor. So if you're looking for some fun and easy crafts to do to spruce up your living space, you are in the right place. But just to start this video off, I moved into my first post-grad apartment a little over 3 months ago, and I feel like it's a big shift from the dorm lifestyle or, you know, living at home. I mean, of course, I wanted my rooms there to still be cozy and cute, but I feel like this is the first space that I've really put a lot of effort into. It's been bringing me so much joy, not only decorating it and thrifting for it, but also creating crafts for my living space, because you guys know I am a huge DIYer and crafter and I love making things, add my own personal style, but also a lot of times it can save you some money. Of course, moving and having my own space opened a whole new world to all these DIY crafts and things that I didn't do before I had my own space, I guess. That being said, I wrote out a list of 20 crafts slash DIYs or things that I've done to my apartment to spruce it up that I would definitely recommend for you guys to consider or try out if you're trying to renovate your little space in a renter-friendly and fun manner. Starting this list off, I said my mini fridge frame wall. Also, a lot of these crafts or DIYs I have like mini tutorials on and full tutorials on, either on YouTube or I'll have like a reel or a short or a TikTok on how I made them if they're kind of simple. So I'll try to link or like include as many of those videos as I can for you guys. But this mini frame fridge wall was such a cute idea. I think I saw it on maybe reels, and I know people have done it in varying sizes and styles, but I made mine very mini. I basically made these little magnets. I ordered these miniature antique looking frames just from Amazon. I think it would be super cute for other purposes too, like if you turn it into a keychain or put the mini frames somewhere else, like on your mirror or something like that. I am a sucker for miniature things. Just seeing this every time I open my fridge literally brings me so much joy, and I feel like a lot of times you don't really think about how to decorate a fridge, but I feel like this one made a huge difference. It was also just so fun to make because obviously you can pick out the photos you want to include, like if you want them to be personal or just Pinterest images. It was also so quick, literally glue, frames, photos, that's it. The next thing I wrote down was my crochet coasters. This was such a quick whip up. I mean, I think crocheting in general is gonna make its way into my apartment because I just love crocheting so much, but a lot of times I don't use the things I crochet that much, especially if it's clothing, which is so unfortunate. But the coasters I feel like have turned out, actually I'm using it right now. I'll show you in live time. I ended up using these so much. I've even bought other coasters, but I just like these a lot because I feel like since they're fabric, they're super light. You can like throw them around. If you stain them, you can wash them. Also just not a huge deal if I ruin one because it takes me like 10 minutes to make it. But I made like a set of like maybe 6 of those in varying colors, and I just based it off of this image I found from Pinterest, which I think was originally for a coaster and placemat setting, which I think would be so cute. But I just did the coasters. I use them literally every day, more than every day. I use them like every second of the day because I always have a cute little drink with me. Right now it's a maple latte. Next was my crocheted flower pillow. I actually used a pattern for this. I always joke about how I rarely ever use patterns, which is the truth, but there's no way I was figuring out how to make this on my own. And I am really glad that I ended up buying the pattern because I love how these pillows turned out. Like little accent pillows, and I keep 2 of them, a smaller one and a bigger one, on my main living room couch. Next I said my polymer clay fridge magnets. This kind of goes with the mini fridge wall, but I just love having things on my fridge. These polymer clay magnets were super easy. I just used a random, I think pink polymer clay, and I painted all of them with acrylic paint, and then I just covered them with Mod Podge and glued a magnet to the back. So you can get as intricate as you want, but it can also be super simple because my designs definitely varied. Number 5, I said my kitchen backsplash. I made a lot of videos and stuff about this because this was a pretty big deal to me. I feel like this was borderline entering like renter friendly renovation, and it's like a big space in my kitchen too. Long story short, the apartment we're at, the backsplash was fine. It was kind of like this gray tiling, which I'm just not a super like gray person. I like the fun pops of color. So I ended up going with this peel and stick backsplash. It's like a muted pink. And I have this like Italian tile kind of behind the oven. I'll link the video because I made a very in-depth short form video and an in-depth long form video on it because it was such a long process. But instead of peeling and sticking it directly onto the wall, I actually stuck it to poster boards and then command stripped that to the wall, and it's been holding up great. I think it looks great. It really brightens up the kitchen and it makes the kitchen feel a lot more styled than it did before. So I love how that one turned out. Another one I had so much fun doing was drilling through teacups or teapots, honestly anything. I even drilled through like this little vase thing I got from TJ Maxx. Basically making your own little planter pots from non-planter pot items. But my favorite thing to do this with was definitely thrifted teacups. I'll show you a couple of the ones I've done, and I still need to repot my plants into these cups, but I think that they turned out really cute and I love how they look on my little patio. Very simply, I just thrifted different teacups or mugs that I liked, and then we used these ceramic drill bits for a power drill, drilled a hole through the bottom. Number 7, I wrote down my oil pastel art. I've been wanting to do oil pastel art for the longest time, even before I had my own space. It just seemed very fun, but especially for your own like room decor, I totally recommend oil pastel over other mediums of art just because it's kind of messy and abstract looking. So even if you don't think you're a great artist or you're not super confident in your drawing skills, I feel like it ends up looking good no matter what. Number 8, I said turning thrifted books into framed art, and this extends beyond just thrifted books, but I've thrifted photo books, calendars, magazines where I would just cut the images out and put them into frames so that I wouldn't have to buy prints. But not only so you don't have to buy prints, but a lot of times I feel like thrifted books can have very unique art in them. I think the one I used the most was this Monet calendar that I got from a garage sale for like $4 maybe, and so I used a couple paintings from there. I love them. Sometimes you see art that you wouldn't even think of finding on your own too, which I think is so fun. Number 9 is one I did pretty recently, but it's the under the sink curtain in my bathroom. I knew from the beginning that I wanted to put a curtain up under there. I actually thrifted a tablecloth that I intended on using to sew some kind of curtain eventually, but under the sink worked perfectly because we started storing random stuff under the sink, like our paper towels, toilet paper, soap refills, just things that aren't, you know, pretty, you don't want to look at. So I installed a little curtain, which was actually very affordable, very cheap. I just used a thrifted tablecloth and sewed that and cut it up to proportion. And then I bought some wooden rods from Joann's, I think. And then I had these little like hooks that screwed into the bottom of the cabinets to just hold the rods up. So honestly, doing all of it took maybe a little over an hour, and it just covers everything up under there so easily. Idea number 10 are these crocheted pot holders. I believe I made these even before I moved in because, you know, I was getting excited about my new apartment, so I wanted to make something as a little housewarming gift to myself. I made these 2 matching ones. I made this one kind of like a granny square and this one checkered, but I actually use these a lot. Idea number 11 are hand painted frames. I made a couple of these, and not only are they so fun, but I think they really brighten up a frame wall. I also made one frame where I made my own mat with just cutting it out of paper and then wrapping it with my own fabric. So I think that is also a very fun way to spruce up any art. Idea number 12 is a granny square pillow. I made a full video on crocheting this with you guys and showing you guys how I made this. I think granny square pillows are such a fun way to once again incorporate color. They're super easy to whip up. You could also make multiple cases and change them out if you want to change your color palette in your room. So it even looks so cute here. I'll keep it here for a little bit. The ideas for crocheting a pillow are pretty much endless. There's so much inspiration. I do eventually want to crochet a new pillow for the bedroom since this one goes in my living room, but I just have so much fun crocheting pillows. It's like my favorite thing ever. Number 13 are my beaded curtain pullbacks. I wanted something to hold my curtains in place, and I found this inspiration photo. I was like, I could totally make something similar to this, do it on my own, and use beads that I like more than just pearls. So I actually did a mix of different beads that I just picked up from Michael's. So I have a mix of like glass beads and pearls. I just once again used a little screw hook into the wall, and honestly that was pretty much it. I just beaded on a piece of thread, made sure there's like a little loop that I could attach it to the hook at the end. That is that. I think they're really cute. It's a nice, very subtle touch of beads. Idea number 14 is my cross stitch. This is the cross stitch kit that I'm currently working on. It's from needlepoint.com. It's gonna take me forever. I feel like I haven't even made a dent in it, but it eventually will be a pillow. I was contemplating if I wanted this design to be framed instead of being a pillow, because I thought it would be really cool as like a centerpiece of art or an entryway art, because it is really massive. I did want to shout out needlepoint in general because I think it's a great way to add textured art if you're doing like a gallery wall. Honestly, any art on your wall, I think it looks really cool when it's done with needlepoint. And honestly, the same goes for like pillows, or if you turn it into anything else, like a little sign or something like that. Number 15 is my polymer clay matchstick holder. I think this is such a fun idea. I actually saw something like this at a flea market once and thought, I think I can make that. I just used polymer clay. I just molded it into the shape I want it to be, which was like a tiny little cup just big enough to hold matches. And I ordered matches, and then I also ordered like I don't know what they're called. They're like match stickers. So I just stuck it on the bottom of the polymer clay cup. Number 16 isn't exactly a DIY, but I'm counting it as one because I feel like it's something that can be skipped over pretty easily, or you just like wouldn't think of, but I feel like it makes a pretty big difference, and that is adding your own outlet covers. I actually have DIY'd outlet covers before, and by that I mean I've gotten like plain white ones and painted them. I do think that would be super fun too, but for my apartment I decided to change mostly the ones in the kitchen that were showing, just because I didn't like the look of outlet. But since I changed it with these like really pretty brassy antique-y looking outlet covers, now I don't care that the outlets are showing. I just ordered a pack off of Amazon. Super easy and renter friendly because you can just take the screws out and like put the original one back in when you're moving out. Number 17 was creating my own art, my own hand sketch piece of art, and then I also drew on a mat. I thrifted this frame. I made my own mat by just cutting out some thick watercolor paper, and then I think I just used a highlighter, like a Muji pen, to make kind of a gingham style on it. And then for the art piece, I was inspired by this photo from Pinterest. I just tried to kind of replicate it as best as I could. I just used a blue Muji pen, sketched it out on watercolor paper, and it kind of gave like a messy, abstract-y look. Number 18 is a crocheted blanket. I feel like I could say crochet anything, but I really do like how my crochet blankets look because they kind of do serve as room decor, whether it's folded and left on your couch or spread out on your bed, or right now I even just have it folded up and it's kind of sitting on this like ladder shelf. I'm actually working on a new one right now. This is what I want my next one to look like. It's a work in progress. I'm actually getting somewhere. I just need to connect all my granny squares, so hopefully I'll have a little update on that one for you guys eventually. But granny square blankets are just so gorgeous, especially to display. I've seen a lot of photos where people just simply display them. I'm sure they use them, but also display them as decor on like blanket holders too, which I think is so gorgeous. Number 19 is right behind me actually, and it's these little sconces. I did not make these sconces. They're from Amazon, but I wanted to mention that you do not need to have electrical hardwiring when you put sconces in. How I did this, and I'll link it all haul below, but I got the sconces from Amazon in a set of 2, and then also from Amazon I ordered rechargeable light bulb. It came with this little remote. You can't really see it right now, but I can change the color, I can put a timer on it, and then I just recharge it. It's like tweaking out in my camera. This really doesn't look like that in person, it's just the camera. But this way you don't need to worry about like electrical hardwiring or anything like that. It's just a rechargeable light bulb. Craft number 20 is actually, maybe this is a little bit cheating. It's more of a concept because I've done this craft like 10 times. I had to shout out ceramic painting at stores like the one I go to at home and where I painted all of these items is called Mudhouse in Issaquah, Washington, but I think that's a standalone shop. I know there's a lot of standalones, but like a Color Me My, Paint the Town, where you go in, you choose your bisque pottery piece, you paint it, and then a week later you go pick it up after they've glazed it and fired it for you. I think this is such a fun way to add personal touch to your space. It is so easy to recreate patterns and different concepts you've seen on Pinterest, but also add the fact that you made it yourself. Those are my 20 DIY ideas and crafts that I've done already for my apartment that I think turned out great and I would recommend. If you guys have any questions about any of these crafts, let me know and I will try my very best to get back to you. But also, if you guys want to see any more craft inspiration talking videos like this where I talk about crafts that I've done or give you guys ideas, please let me know because I would love to do more videos like this. But thank you guys so much for joining me, for being here, and I hope your DIYing and decorating goes great. And I'll see you all in my next video. Bye guys.